Hello and welcome to another episode of an Offbeat podcast. I'm Anthony.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Eric.
And we are the Offbeat 3. We would like to thank everyone who has listened, liked, reviewed, or shared the show. We really appreciate it and it helps us out a lot. Eric, can you tell our new listeners what an Offbeat podcast is and how they can stay connected to the show?
Yeah, sure, Anthony. An Offbeat podcast is a random grab bag of weekly topics discussed by us, the Offbeat 3. Each episode beats to its own drum, hence the name Offbeat. You can get connected with the show on Instagram at an Offbeat Podcast and Twitter at an Offbeat, or you can join our Facebook group by searching for an Offbeat Podcast.
Thank you, Eric. Now, Ashley, can you give our listeners a rundown of our first episode during Black History Month?
Okay, so on this episode, we will start off with the offbeat headlines. We will cover what happened with the GameStop stock. That was really crazy. We'll go over the recap with Keshia and Ashanti, their Verzuz battle that finally happened. We'll also talk about what is taking place with Congresswoman Marjorine Taylor Greene. And more of what's going on in the government just a little bit more. And then too, we'll go over our main discussion of the Super Bowl and the Chiefs and what's going on with that.
You sound really excited about
that. Okay. Well, I am. Okay, and we'll also touch on whether or not the name Chiefs is offensive. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll have a conversation about it. And then let's look at the review of Denzell, his new movie. I don't know if everybody's watched that, but we'll touch on that a little bit. And then Eric is going to try and convince us to watch P-Valley. I've had this conversation a few times with people, so okay, Eric, bring it on. Bring it on,
see if he can sell us.
And then we'll wrap it up, of course, with the OffBeat Fact and our OffBeat Top 3. So, Anthony, tell us, what is the OffBeat Top 3 this week?
Well, in honor of Sunday's big game between the Chiefs and the Buccaneers, we're going to be discussing everyone's top 3 TV game shows growing up. So with that, we'll be right back with our Offbeat headlines.
This episode of an Offbeat podcast is sponsored by an Offbeat Production LLC.
Welcome back, and now for some Offbeat headlines. Eric, can you tell everybody what happened with this GameStop stock last week?
Yeah, I think it's really important to kind of talk about this because a lot of this has gone over people's heads. When people are trying to discuss it on the radio or on social media, a lot of people just aren't quite grasping it. But I kind of wanted to break it down in its simplest form and just talk about some keywords and stuff like that we talk about in the field of economics. So one of the things I want to talk about first are barriers to entry. Barriers to entry are simply the obstacles or roadblocks that it takes to get into a particular field or starting a firm. A firm is a business. So a barrier to entry for an ice cream shop would be, do you know anything about ice cream? Do you have access to dairy, et cetera, et cetera? So one of the things that has made the stock market inaccessible to folks like you and I over the past several decades is the fact that we've had significant barriers to entry. The main barrier to entry is the amount of money that you needed, the brokerage fee, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's very true because Ashley and I were talking about this a couple of days ago, and it was like, growing up, the stock market seemed like a foreign concept. It seemed like you needed to have a lot of money to get in to play with. You needed to know the right people, rub the right elbows and everything. And it seemed like now it's more in hand.
Like, yeah, even in movies, they never presented it like the common folk could really buy this. Like,
and if you did buy it, it was something like, oh, you get made a profit. It was like a anomaly or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's 100% correct. So that's why we need to go in and talk about Robinhood.
Mm-hmm.
Robinhood is an exchange app. It's just an application that you have on your phone that you can use to trade stocks. I mean, you
Mhm.
can be your own day traders, selling and purchasing options, stocks, bonds, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just go into that a little bit about Robinhood. Okay, so with Robinhood, the one thing that makes it so accessible is because there is no brokerage fee. Also, there's no minimum. So you don't have to have 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, or 20, even $25,000 that you would normally have to get into the stock market.
Oh,
And
okay.
so you don't even have to have that. You can have something as little as $50 and you can go in and you can invest. And one of the other things about Robinhood is there's no processing fee. A while ago, I don't think Ameritrade had it, but E Trade had like a $9 purchase fee for each stock. And if you
Mm.
wanted to sell this, then it was an additional $9. So if you can think about that, so say you purchase a stock for $50. Okay, well, really now you have $41 because you've had to purchase that stock with the $9 processing
Embedded
fee.
loss.
Right. And so if you gain an additional $50 to that $41 in the stock market, because let's say you just struck it rich and then but you want to pull out, you're satisfied with your $91. You've also got a $9 fee to pull that. So
Mm.
if you understand what I'm saying,
Mhm.
Robinhood has no significant barriers to entry. So that really makes the app really easy to use, maintain,
For everybody.
navigate. Yeah.
Definitely for the everyday person, common folk. Like we've had a Robinhood, I think, for like a year and a
Yeah,
half now.
playing around. A lot of people we
Um,
know have Robinhood.
Okay.
yeah.
So,
So
so
yeah,
what do you guys think about the application?
Like you said, it's very user friendly. You can get in very low
I
maintenance.
like it. I like it a lot. um,
However, they do have limits on what stocks they offer. I believe like it's a certain price point before they offer stocks. Like they don't have many penny stocks on the market and things like that.
Right.
I think it's more or less to look out for the hedge fund that's behind them and that bottom line out there.
I'm glad you all like it. Like I said, there are other applications that you can use on the computer. E
like what,
Trade.
Eric? Tell us more about those.
Okay, E Trade, Ameritrade are some examples. I personally use Ameritrade. I know a lot of people that use Ameritrade. My sister uses it. My former brother in law uses it as well. So, that's accessible as well. And one of the great things about Ameritrade is that, you can track the history of the stock and how it's
Mhm.
done over the course of several quarters to years and stuff like that. So,
Robinhood offers that as well. They go back as far as 5 years with the
5 years.
data.
I
Okay.
know a lot of people who are they have a lot multiple. So like you're speaking of multiple, they
Mm,
don't just use Robinhood, like they use other ones as well. So
Hmm.
I don't
right.
know. Do you think there's any benefit to having multiple accounts through?
Um, Not necessarily so much as multiple accounts as multiple stocks. One of the things that I learned in college in monetary policy is that diversification is important. You don't want to put
Mhm.
all your eggs in one basket. You can put your money into mutual funds, stocks, bonds, et cetera, et cetera. This is not financial advice, but things that I've been taught as I got my degree in economics. But another key term that we've been hearing a lot is shorting or shorting a stock. I just want to talk about that briefly. So essentially what shorting a stock is, one borrows shares from a broker and sells them with the understanding that the shares be returned to the broker. Okay?
Hmm.
So when the price falls and you have purchased the shares, you have to purchase them back and you get to keep the difference. Now, the issue with that is it's very, very risky. So if someone artificially increases the stock price and it goes up by purchasing lots of shares, even though the company isn't performing outside market norms, then this is what we call the squeeze. So basically, for this instance with GameStop stock has gone up $10 billion.
Hmm.
At one point, it was up $10 billion. Now, when we look at Tesla, okay, when the stock price goes up, it's because Elon Musk has talked about something innovative or some bringing in a new partner, et cetera, et cetera. So it makes people want to buy that stock. It's not
Mhm.
artificially inflated. But with the instance with GameStop, it was because there's no difference.
Okay.
There's nothing innovative. Like we know GameStop is you and I, Dupree, we're gamers. We enjoy it now, but I'd be surprised if GameStop is around in 5 years with everything going digital. Now, if they were saying,
I agree.
okay, now this is what we're going to do, we're going to be innovative and we're going to do something new. We're going to sell digital copies. We're going to offer discounts on this, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, if
Then
they
it,
just give more money for games and stuff.
right, right. So basically, the people who initially shorted the stock, they
Mhm.
still owe their brokers. They are obligated by their initial agreement to return those shares to them.
Mhm.
As demand increases, the stock prices increases higher. So whether the stock is really seeing anything new or different, they have to return the stock. They've betted that the stock would not do so well. They bet against the stock. That's why they have all these shares of the stock. But since the stock price goes up, they still have to give those shares back,
Mhm.
which affects their pockets essentially. People have on Wall Street have done this for decades, but the problem is that people like you and I, the common folk, are starting to do this now. I think the gentleman who started this, I think his name was Keith Gill, and he did this on a Reddit.
Mhm.
And when he did that on a Reddit page, he also had a YouTube page, which has seen over 600,000
Views.
views. Yes, excuse me.
Mhm.
The word escaped me for a second.
Mm.
But the issue with this is that Wall Street is now angry. They don't want this to happen again. They don't want people like you and I catching on to the game. Now all of a sudden they want regulation. Wall Street has never wanted regulation ever. They didn't want it with Glass-Steagall. They didn't want it with the Dodd-Frank Act after the
Mhm.
economic collapse of 2008, 2009. So now all of a sudden they want regulation to stop people like you and I banding together and doing the same thing that they've done for decades. So I just feel that this is important, trying to understand the nuances that are involved with this particular situation in GameStop. I said we would come back to Robinhood, and this is where I'll close. Robinhood did something I think that was pretty nefarious. They temporarily stopped the trading for GameStop stock. They would not do this for any other.
They also did it for
Yeah,
AMC and all
yeah,
the other stocks that were on the Reddit thread that were being boosted during that time period as well.
absolutely, absolutely. And that's because the little guy, you and I, was sticking it to the hedge funds, the man.
Mhm.
And they didn't, and the hedge funds, they have the influence. They're like, hey, we need to squash the little guy. They need to stop this. And so that's why you have everybody on MSNBC, CNN, Fox News feigning like this is just hurting their pockets so much. I mean, oh no, I won't be able to buy another yacht this year.
Yeah, people are trying to sue. Like I saw that. Like people are planning to sue.
Oh wow.
Like
It's an incredibly impressive situation of what people can do, average Joes can do just by coming together on a Reddit page, YouTube, and the internet. This is what can be accomplished. However, the powers that be, they won't let this continue.
yeah.
And now we're going to move from average Joes to some superstar divas. Our diva on the Offbeat podcast, Mrs.
Okay.
Ashley Canehead, will give us her recap and winner of the Keshia Cole and Ashanti versus battle.
Wow, okay, what introduction. Yeah, so the versus battle that finally took place after, I don't know, three
Like a month,
cancellations,
yeah.
or I don't even, I lost count. I lost track. Anyway, so the battle itself, though, it was a good battle. I actually enjoyed it a tad bit. I mean, I didn't enjoy the off parts of Keisha Cole's voice, but I enjoyed Shanti. She was flawless, of course, just looking really, really good. um, and
Hmm.
then if I had to say who won, I'm going to go with the People's Choice, and the People's Choice would have been Ashanti. So yes, Ashanti did win, and according to Billboard, they also gave it to Ashanti 12 to 10. win.
Wow.
So yeah, Ashanti won the battles hands down. She also was very classy, I will say, because Keshia Cole was late. Um, a
How
lot of
late was
people were
she?
like, "How could you be late? It was in your house."
Oh,
Because
oh, that's
the
even
battle
bad.
was virtual. Like everybody was in their own personal virtual home space virtually. So that was another thing. It was sponsored by Doritos and Ciroc. That
We
was
knew
another thing.
Doritos was
They
just.
pointed that out. They made sure we
Yes,
knew
they did.
that they sponsored it. And let's see, yeah. So I will say too, with Keshia Cole being late, Ashanti held it down. She kept talking about how she was holding it down for her sister. And then too, with her being late, they kind of had to wrap the battle up a little early, so they started going through songs very quickly. And it was funny because it kind of seemed like Keshia Cole had an attitude about it, but it's like, how could you really have an attitude? You were the one that was late, and they were like, Instagram was going to shut them down or something like that,
Yeah,
so
they
they
was
had
gonna
to.
lose that check.
Okay.
So they had to make sure they got it out of there. So yeah, overall though, I thought it was a entertaining battle. I mean, I expected Keshia Cole's voice to be how it was. I mean, and I think most people who listen to Keshia Cole or know Keshia Cole expected. I mean,
Especially when that
that's kind of
song
how her
"Love"
voice
came
sounds.
on.
Yeah, but that was funny because OT Genesis came out and made her laugh
Her
because
new boo.
they were all talking about how she never smiles, but she's like, how can I smile when I'm singing these sad love songs about how somebody left me or did me wrong? So her boo thing, I guess, is OT Genesis. He came out and showed her some love, and that made her smile. So, yeah, it was good. What did you think of it?
Same thoughts. It was pretty good. Besides the fact of Keshia Cole being late and the overt advertising of Doritos sponsorship on everything, from the blatant product placement in the actual videos to the Doritos halftime
Right, like
show
they got their
and
own special
halftime song and
song.
everything. Then they had to like talk about their favorite Dorito and everything. I do agree that Ashanti won this battle. She was very classy with her performance and everything. Keshia Cole performed some songs I didn't know she had. Like I didn't think about her discography as being that vast, but there's like, oh wow, she did have these bangers to put out.
Right, and actually, it's funny you brought that up because they both sung a new song, like songs that they have coming out. They were releasing that night or this month. So yeah, so that was cool too. Eric, did you catch it at all or hear anything
No,
about
I
it?
didn't catch it. You know, the last battle I watched was was it Too Short in
Yeah.
E40? Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
watched. That was the last battle I watched. But what's your favorite Ashanti song or feature?
Oh my goodness.
Put you on the spot.
Right, because I sung like almost every song that
Yes,
came
you
on. I
did.
did not know I knew that many songs. I'm just gonna say I'm just an Ashanti fan in general. She just had that voice
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. I will say, what was it, mid 2000s somewhere in there?
Yeah,
Like she just had a little time frame when it was she did
her
well.
and
Like
Ja.
she had the type of music your ears like to listen to. And just some classics that never really die. Like as she was playing them, I was just like, oh yeah, there's another one and another one.
So,
It's funny.
how would you rate this one amongst the other versus battles?
Okay, so how many women have we? I mean, we
We
have what, Patti LaBelle, and but they had some
have
issues.
Monica.
Monica. Um,
Yeah, I think this is it.
so it's not
Who do
much
we
to
need to see
go
next in a
off of.
versus?
I mean, I'd like to see a female rap hip hop,
Oh, that would be a really
a
good one.
female hip hop versus. I think that would be entertaining.
Not
Um,
twice. Not
Like
not.
Missy and or Trina or Foxy or
I'm open. I'm
I'm
not.
open,
I'm
but you
not.
can't put Foxy or Trina because like anybody almost body them. Like
I
right.
mean,
Well,
if
you
if
remember Kaya was trying to go against Trina. I was like, that would have been a boring battle.
that would have been. There's like
bring,
one song for
bring
her.
police back,
Police.
police and Rashida or something, something crazy like
Wow.
It's funny you
that's offbeat.
it's funny you bring up Rashida. She's from Georgia. Real love hip hop Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well, last November we elected a new administration, and with that new administration came a new congresswoman by the name of Marjorine Taylor Greene.
Mm.
She's also a QAnon supporter, if you guys didn't know that. Well, she's recently come under scrutiny for comments she made prior to the election and during the election about, ironically, the election itself, the school shootings in both Florida and Sandy Hook, and the California forest fires, to name a few of these controversial statements she's came out with. Well, these comments, along with her involvement with the January 6th incident on the White House Capitol, has landed her in some very hot water. And on Thursday, the resolution that was rose to strip her of all her committee assignments passed 230 votes to 199, leaving her stripped of all these committee assignments. And I was wondering, do you guys think that the other Congress people who were involved in inciting the DC riots and questioning the election process should be held as accountable as well, like Josh Hawley and Ryan Ted Cruz?
Well, I definitely think that they should be held accountable. I mean, that's something for the ethics committee to really dive into with an investigation. I think a very thorough investigation and a real investigation, not something that is just for political theater. That's one of the things that
Mhm.
I can't really stand. So I do think that there should be repercussions. You can't storm the Capitol and try to take over uh,
Right.
a duly elected, um, a democratic elected officials.
Mhm.
You just can't do that. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit tongue tied, but it's just insane to me that in 2020, well, 2021, that we're having this conversation about people trying to usurp the authority of the United States government.
Right.
Like I'm all for freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, which they had the right to. They could have, had that assembly outside the Capitol, but that breach of the Capitol is just mind-boggling. And the fact that there were so few fatalities is really interesting to me as well, because I know we've always talked about if these were maybe Black Lives Matter or something like that, the outcome would have been different. But yeah,
Yeah, much
Mhm.
different.
yeah, I definitely think they should be held accountable. So hopefully the ethics committee gets together and, doles out the punishment.
What about you, Ash?
I definitely agree. They should be held accountable. Um, I mean, our president at that time incited a riot. So
Well, he's being punished for
they
that.
knew that nothing would come of it immediately. I mean, a lot of them have lost jobs up
Mhm.
to this point. Some have had criminal charges raised against them. Um, and I guess I'm speaking of mainly like the general public, because not too many actual Congress or elected officials have had charges raised against them quite yet. But I do see it coming. Just the way everything is now under this new administration, and how what happened with the last administration, how that went out. A lot of things have already started to change and are changing. We see that. So definitely think that they should be, and I think they will. A lot of them will be held accountable. And if it's not in the court, like we all want to see, like some type of justice being served toward these people, other justice will be served in another way, because karma is a what. So, and it's already happening to a lot of them. Like, you're not gonna get elected again. You're not gonna have a nice life. Like, even Josh, how when he did all of this, there was people outside his house. His wife was at home with their child, their like
Yes,
brand new baby or
he's
something like
been
that. I don't
complaining
even
about that.
know, but like that's how quick it is though. So I'm just saying, like, even if they're not held accountable in the way that we want to see them held accountable, justice will be served in the end.
Okay.
So,
Speaking of being held accountable and justice being served,
so
we currently have rapper Ti and singer Tiny
oh
being accused
yeah.
of multiple sex trafficking charges, along with a lot of other malicious acts. Ashley, can you catch us up with everything going on that? And this is just like crazy because I would never have thought about this. Like Ti, he has this expeditiously podcast, and they have this family hustle show where he's like, "I'm the American
Okay,
dad"
well,
and
hold up.
everything.
Since you're talking about the shows, we might as well stop you right
Oh,
there,
okay.
because since all of this has transpired and all these women are coming out
Mhm.
of the woodwork, should I say, their show has been suspended.
Oh wow,
MTV
they move
had,
quick.
they own VH. They have a partnership with VH1. I guess they know VH1. They've pulled the show. They've suspended it for right now until these allegations are figured out. But right now, they are facing a range of sexual abuse accusations, including trafficking, drugging, and coercing women.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
They saw they was on that R. Kelly
And
tip.
I really don't want to. I really don't want to believe it. I don't, just because it's, yeah, it's Ti and Tiny. Like, I really love Ti and Tiny. Like, I watch their shows. I mean, I've been a fan. I'm a fan. I can't deny it. I am. So to hear this and to know that, he has a past already, we know of, he has daughters. I hope it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he's already denied these accusations, so hopefully it'll be cleared up quickly. We don't want to see another R. Kelly or Bill Cosby situation go down with another one of our black celebrity figures.
Yeah, especially if it's not true.
But Black Family, I mean, they have a show,
Yeah,
a
they
running
have
show like this, like 7 seasons or something like it. Well, no, 3. The new show is like 3.
different
The
season.
Tiny,
Yes.
the Family Hustle show. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sad if it's true, but I'm gonna just wait and see. I know he's planning to possibly sue the one lady. I'm sure, like, if it's
Who
not
alleged that
true,
it's about her.
yeah, somebody that used to be their friend or nothing. But she said that
Well,
he put a gun to her
Well,
head.
Rob Kardashian also alleged that they made Black China participate in an act with them, and he was at the time he was 32 and she was 8 years younger than him. So that's like it's been out there for a while, and now the pieces
Okay,
are.
why are you saying it like she wasn't an adult? Not saying it was
Well,
right
they
if
said.
she. I
Well,
mean,
Rob, the
okay,
way
that's
that
gonna
Rob
come out.
presented it,
But
he presented like they coerced her to involve herself in their situation.
well, again, I hope it's not. I hope it's not true.
I do as well.
But we'll have to see. We'll see.
So, speaking of justice being served, did you guys hear about the police officer who pepper sprayed the 9-year-old girl in New York?
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
I just heard
Well,
about
if
it
you
the other
guys,
day.
well, let me catch you up. So, the mother of the 9-year-old girl who was pepper sprayed in Rochester, New York, she plans to sue the police department per CNN. About a month ago, the officers responded to a incident of family trouble, and the girl was outside. They say causing the disturbance. The officers attempted to arrest her, and she repeatedly refused to let them put the handcuffs on her, refusing to get inside the back of the police vehicle and everything. She's constantly crying out for her father. At one point in time, the officer says, "You're acting like a child," and the girl responds, "I am a child."
Yeah, I did hear that.
And then the body cam footage shows the officer later taking the girl putting her into the vehicle and saying, "This is your last chance, or pepper spray is going in your eyeballs." And then about a minute later, they proceed to pepper spray the little girl and handcuff her and put her in the back of the vehicle. She was later taken to the Rochester General Hospital and later released according to police files. But this just goes into a continual pattern of how they treat minorities in the with police officers, whether it's mental health issues or them just not understanding the situation going on. They always think that we're the aggressors in the situation, and instead of talking to us and getting the situation resolved and understanding exactly what's going on, they're quick to apply force and to say we're resisting or something like that.
I mean, she's 9. You don't have any other way to get a 9-year-old under control besides pepper spraying.
Yeah,
Because if that's the case, all the parents who get in trouble for, I don't know, spanking their children or having them do a tad bit tough punishments, maybe they shouldn't be in trouble at all. Because just think about it. Like, the police can't. I just think about it. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
mm-hmm.
But I did hear that he got the police officers or whoever were involved got suspended.
Yeah,
Or
the mayor of
fired.
Rochester. I think she either suspended them without pay or she fired them to be.
Well, we need to know which
we'll
one
check
she
for
did.
sure. Yeah,
but I think she's
she
black.
took
So
action.
she
Yeah,
did
she took
something
action.
that was
Like they were. She was like, "This
right
is
away
not
too.
going down."
She
Yes,
didn't wait.
because about in March they had another fellow who he had mental health issues, and they put a bag over his head after responding to a call of a disturbance, and he ended up suffocating in the street while he was unclothed. And they was like this. They were like, "This is a same thing that happened, and something worse could happen to this little girl."
Right. That's so
And this is the second time in a year that something has happened.
Well, hopefully her parents actually see some type of something out of this, like actually get some money out of this. I'm just gonna be
Yeah,
100.
they're also looking for them to take care of all the
I know it's
hospital fees and everything that
yeah,
went
that
along with
too,
this.
all of that, and any trauma, take care of that for her and the family, whatever they experience, all of that too. But put some money in their pockets as well.
So from one set of officers losing their job to another person losing most of his endorsements and being dropped from all streaming platforms, country star Morgan Wallen was caught by his neighbor using the N word amongst other words that we can't say on this podcast. Did you guys happen to see this clip from TMZ?
Yeah, I think I told you about it, but I don't know if I actually watched the clip of it. What he said. I just read the story.
Well, him and his friend showed up drunk last Monday after hanging out at some bar, and he was just belligerent with someone outside of his house, and he said, "Get this N word out of my house, this P word N word out of my house." And yeah, so the neighbor across the street, he woke up and because he heard like all this commotion, turned his door camera on, just recorded everything.
Who was
And
he talking to?
us, I don't know, like the other person, you can't see the person he's talking to, but he's talking to his friends to tell him to get that person. And this brings up a bigger issue, a bigger question, like the undertone racism in country music. Like, is this like the mindset throughout all of these artists? Like, do they have underlying meanings, or is this just one bad apple in the bunch? What do you guys think about
I mean,
that? I'm sorry.
racism is definitely alive and thriving in this country, as we've seen and felt over throughout a lot of time. I don't even know how to put a period of time on it, but even more so for people who act like they didn't know or didn't see it the last 4 years.
Hmm.
If you need a time period.
And then country music is the country's music.
I mean, and maybe that's why Lil Nas X is trying to break into it, and the other black country guy
Yeah, making trap.
they trying to break into it. But I don't think it's really called that, Anthony. I think that was a stretch on what she was trying to
Well,
say. She
in,
probably shouldn't have
in
said
the
it like
words of
that.
Mr. Perfect,
Where country meets trap. Like,
words of Mr. Perfect.
I don't.
When rap and country come out, it makes crap.
Yeah, but you can't tell nothing about somebody taking their horse to the old town road.
You sure can't.
Ride that horse till they can't no
more. So we also had Lil Uzi Vert powering up by adding the Mind Stone to the middle of his forehead.
So stupid.
Little Avengers reference.
Yes, he added a 20.
I saw a picture of it like after he first got it done, and it was like blood dripping from his
Yeah,
head.
and he was like,
if I don't get it removed, I can die or something. And I was just like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that?
Well, he put a $24 million pink diamond in his head that he spent the last 7 years paying off. He said that he saw it and he really wanted it, and I was just like, did you really need to put it in your forehead? He saw Avengers one too many times.
It just seems very dangerous. You really can't lock that up at all. Somebody get a hold of you. Just pop that right out.
Thanos him.
I don't think that's safe. I just don't think it's safe. I think he's gonna have a lot of headaches. What if the sun meets it at the right angle or something?
He'll blind somebody.
Sitting and sets his hair on fire. Like I don't even know. It sends a shock through his heart, his whole body.
I don't know.
That was a little wave.
Right when they.
Well, I guess he's always got a way to start fire. If he's ever in the forest or in the wild, he's always got a way.
He'd be great on
as long as he's got the sun.
Yes.
He's always got a way.
So speaking of people getting things stuck or implanted in their heads, Ashley, didn't you see something about?
Oh my goodness!
Somebody having a mishap with some
I don't
Gorilla
even
Glue.
know the girl's name. I just have been seeing the video and the pictures of this girl who put Gorilla Glue in her hair. I guess she was trying to keep the weave down. I don't even know what the girl was trying to accomplish, but she used Gorilla Glue to do this, and
it was purposeful.
First and foremost, disclaimer: you cannot use Gorilla Glue in your hair. Don't do that. It's not made for your scalp. Pretty much, it's made for almost everything else but your body. Almost everything else. That's the greatest thing about Gorilla Glue. You can use it for so many things. You stick right to it. You use it around the house. Almost if you want to use it in if you got an old car, probably not a new one.
I thought it was duct tape's job.
But Like, you don't use it in your hair. And she did. And you see the videos and the pictures of her in the hospital after the video of her doing this. And they had to, like, I guess, take her whole scalp off. I mean, I don't
So
know.
she went from a head full of hair to a
If you
bald
gel
fade.
your hair back with Gorilla Glue like that, you probably have to lose all it what you
Ooh,
have.
I
So
thought she maybe put a little dab on here and
hopefully
there.
she'll be able to get her some oils, some different, you know, oils, and
Some kinks and some fruits and
she need
berries.
olives, she need cocoa, she
She needs
need
some fruits and berries.
shea, that's a butter. She need everybody. She need
Jesus.
she go. It's gonna be a long journey back, but luckily they have wigs. There's other things she can do in the meantime. She can still be, or she's not her hair. She can NDR it. She can just slowly, rock the bald life and
But
go
she was
that
doing it
route.
for the TikTok, so
maybe TikTok should give it a little bit of money, a little click clack. I don't even know what
she's doing too much for clout.
Chicken change or something. I don't know, but hey, that was just a bad idea. So hopefully nobody else tries that at home.
I agree. And in our final headlines, we would like to acknowledge the passing of actress Black excellence Cicely Tyson at the age of 96. And yes.
R.I.P.
And boxing legend and father to Corey Spinks, Leon Spinks from St. Louis. And with that, we'll be back with our Super Bowl 55 discussion. And if
Chiefs,
the name Chiefs is
offensive, is what you were looking
yes,
for.
I was looking for the word offensive. Sorry about that. We'll be right back.
This episode has been brought to you by an Offbeat Production, LLC.
Is everybody ready for the big game on Sunday?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
So on Sunday we have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55. We have the young buck Patrick Mahomes taking out the old goat Tom Brady, taking him to the woodshed, him out his misery last time.
Yes.
So how do we get to this game? We had the AFC Championship game of the Kansas City Chiefs where they dog walked the Buffalo Bills. It was not even fair. The game was one-sided the entire time. I fell asleep, woke up, it was still bad. It was like, oh God, you guys are not even trying.
Well, things happen.
Then we also had the NFC Championship game where Tom Brady was assisted by the referee staff to another Super Bowl.
A lot of people weren't happy about that, which was like a typical Tom Brady game.
Right. They called one call in the middle of the field at the end of the game. We see his allegiance already. So
I don't have to hate.
Let's get this out of the way. Who are you going for this Sunday?
The Chiefs. What do you mean? Who am I going for?
And what's the score? What's the spread?
I'm so long and hard. Well, okay, you put me on the spot again. I don't really think the other team is going to do that well, so I'm gonna give them somewhere between 21 and 24 points, and I'm looking at the Chiefs coming in around 37, somewhere like that. Okay. 30, 37, 39. Yeah.
I agree with you.
Couple touchdowns probably.
I'm going with the Chiefs as well. Young Patrick MVP. I'm thinking it's gonna be like 38-14, based on what happened in the game earlier in the season where Tyreek Hill had like almost 300 catching yards in the first half.
Exactly.
What about you, young Eric Hawthorne?
I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady, and that defense by Todd Bowles, are going to keep the Chiefs to under 30 points. I think it's going to be 27 for the Chiefs and 35 for the Bucs.
So Tom Brady was up to his old shenanigans of recording plays and stuff.
Please.
Look, Tom Brady beat a very healthy gauntlet.
Okay, if the referees are on his side,
He beat a Drew Brees who had a collapsed lung. He beat Aaron Rodgers with the help of the referees.
And now he will beat Patrick Mahomes.
With the help of cameras.
Don't worry. We're going to make sure all the balls are fully inflated
yes,
with
we
the
are.
proper amount of NFL air that they need to be successful.
And we're also
going bowling balls, tennis balls, it doesn't matter. Tom Brady, touchdown.
No. So, get
the man a walker already. Get the man off the field.
Eric, do you think Tom Brady is better than Patrick Mahomes?
Do I think he's better than Patrick Mahomes? No.
If you minus the rings.
Is he minus the rings?
That's all you need.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
I'm sorry.
so. Because well, are you talking about at this particular stage in his career?
Yeah. Well,
No,
in general.
he's not better than Aaron Rodgers. He's not better than Tom Brady. I mean, he's not better than Patrick Mahomes. I mean, there are a litany of quarterbacks that are better, but once again, he plays with his mind rather, because of his
Patrick
diminished
plays with
arm strength.
everything. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, Tom Brady has the leadership. He got
And
Antonio
Patrick
Brown and
doesn't.
Shaq.
He's young and he already has it. Are you kidding me? Come
And
on. Okay.
in the previous
Okay.
matchups between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, they are 2-2. So this is going to be the tiebreaker.
I'm
And
excited for
the
the
two
game.
games that Patrick Mahomes lost to Tom Brady, he lost them to Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick outcoached Andy Reid in both of those games.
Hmm.
So without Bill Belichick, Tom Brady's going to fall in the Super Bowl.
No, that's not true at all. I think Tom
Okay.
Brady is going to do what he needs to do. I think he will not have any turnovers, no pick sixes or
Oh,
anything like
whoa.
that.
I
I
think
think that's
Tyron
going to
Matthew
be
would have a
very
different
key.
say about that.
No, I think that's going to be very key, but I think that the Bucks
Are you
defense is
willing
going to
to risk
force.
your eyebrows for this?
Am I willing to risk my eyebrows? These
Yeah.
very perfect and handsome eyebrows, of course.
Okay, so if the Buccaneers lose, you would shave one of your eyebrows halfway off, and we
Sure.
will take a
Okay.
picture
And
and
post
put
it
it
on
on
page.
the
Okay.
page. And if the Chiefs lose, I will shave an eyebrow halfway off. Do we have a
Okay.
bet?
We got a
Okay.
bet.
Okay. Okay. All right. I like this. I like this. So Eric will have half an eyebrow on Monday. Everybody's
No,
the day
I
after
will.
the Super Bowl. Everybody stay on the lookout for that. We will look for Eric. I look forward to seeing it. I can't wait. I know one thing. You better not have no shade.
Go Chiefs. Now, speaking of the name Chiefs, do you find the name Chiefs to be the name Chiefs and the tomahawk chop to be offensive?
I mean, I personally don't. However, it's not directly tied to my history or culture. So I cannot speak for how someone who identifies as Native American or Indian might feel about that headdress, the tomahawk chop, um, since it's within their, they think it's something that is within their,
Sacred to them.
yeah, sacred to them. And really looking at it, it's not that it's this the noise that comes with it, the whole ritual behind what goes on with the tomahawk
Okay.
chop that they find offensive. Because it would be one thing if it was just like at a normal high school game or something where you're like, oh, and that's it, like it's just one thing. But this
It's
is
a
like,
whole
it's a song. It's like
demeaning
it's
song.
seemingly chanting. If you were, I don't want to say, like around a campfire, TP like setting, a ritual like thing for them. So that's how it comes off. And a lot of things I think with the Chiefs come off that way to that culture. So a lot of us might not be able to see it or understand it in the same way that they're feeling it because it doesn't directly correlate with us or
I
our
understand where you're
history.
coming from.
Eric?
It doesn't really matter if I find it offensive or not. It's whether the Native American community finds it offensive. Now, as I understand it, the chief's name doesn't necessarily come from any particular Native American tribe or anything like that. It's actually named after somebody that was called like the Big Chief or something. It was just a nickname. But the fact that they've adopted Native American imagery, that's just something a little bit different than that. So if we want to talk about that, then yeah, I don't think you should probably, wear the headdress, beat the drum, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't find the Chiefs' name offensive because if you look at um, what the Washington team was called, I mean, that's just completely ridiculous.
I mean, I looked at a little bit more research of it, and the actual guy who it was named after, who had an opportunity to name the Chiefs once they moved here. he not only was just called this as a nickname, but he had a presence in the Native American community. So with that being said, it's kind of like
how they tie
when
it.
you start tying stuff in, it becomes a little like, ooh, this kind of feels like it relates, and then ooh, this headdress, like there's too many things. Like you had the drum, you had the hairdress, but I will give the Chiefs credit because they have already changed a lot of things. Let's give them some credit. They took it upon themselves. They started dialogue 6 years ago, actually, with local Native communities here in the area to get things figured out, to make things work. So one thing, they got rid of the drums. They also banned the hairdresses back in August of 2020. So that's something that they did too. They banned them from Arrowhead. So I mean, that's one thing. And then Indian themed face paint. They've banned that too. Okay. So there's a lot of things that they're already doing, and they are reviewing the Arrowhead, and I quote, chop, the tomahawk chop. They're reviewing that to see what they might do, or how maybe we can modify it. Maybe changing the name might help, or not letting them sing the sing-songy thing with it. I don't know, but I mean, they're doing some things to make it work. Do I think they should have to completely change the name?
About like the Washington football team?
No, I don't. So if they can maybe compromise doing some of these other things, let's do it. But I like the Washington football team. They're still a football team. What changed but the name? So if it has to change, I think the team, the town will still be behind them. We will still ride. A lot of people will still call them the Chiefs, but at the end of the day,
Oakland Raiders,
they're still going to be right. They're still going to be the town's team. So I hope it doesn't have to change based on tradition. Maybe we can change some of these other things surrounding it, since we do have a chief of staff, a chief of police, a chief of all these other things. You know, it's kind of unfair to do it just to us if we're willing to make changes, you know, elsewhere within the organization to make it less, I don't know, native-like.
So do you think if they sponsored a native tribe that...
No, I don't really think. You know, you meaning if they were endorsed by a native tribe of some sort and did it that way, like FSU did.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I think that would be a good look. Maybe that'll work for them to be able to keep their name. But right now they have, I think it's called the Kansas City Native Center or something like that. They're coming from. So that's the petition, and those are the people looking to get this changed. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think that could help. Eric, do you think that would help? Maybe them being endorsed by.
Yeah, like I said, I think it would help, but it can't be like from the Ben Carson tribe or whatever, or the Candace Owen tribe. Like these actually have to be native tribes that aren't bought off or anything like that. So I just want to keep it in that perspective, but yeah, I think that would definitely help with that support.
All right, so shifting gears, since everybody's going to be watching the big game this weekend, let's take it back to when we were younger and talk about our favorite game shows from when we were growing up. And this week's Offbeat Top 3, we'll be discussing our favorite TV game shows from our childhood. And we're going to start off with Lady Ashley. Ladies first.
Oh, okay. Starting with me. Well, I enjoyed Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Who didn't?
Right. Double Dare 2000. I know you didn't see that one. And then let's see, what else did I enjoy? I actually liked Fear Factor. I was kind of weird like that. And,
Fear Factor was cool, especially when it first came out.
And then if I have to pull some from even just those days with grandma after school,
that was 3.
Well, I figured I probably took some other people.
Here's about you can give us a bonus one.
A bonus?
Yeah, this is the one with grandma, the bonus one.
No, I'm not gonna get that one in. I give Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Okay. I watched that one too because that was like Phone a Friend and all of that stuff.
Yeah, so that was when you trying to figure out who your smart friends cool. were.
Right.
What about you, Eric? What were your top 3?
Learning random facts.
Okay.
Tic-tac-toe show.
No tic-tac-toe show. You know what? I'm actually going to go outside the box a little bit. I'm going to start with Supermarket Sweep. I really, I really love that show. Loved watching it with my mom. I was like, do they get to keep all these groceries?
Right, all
Right.
those
I used to want it to
turkeys.
do
I was
that.
like, where would
Yeah.
they put those turkeys? I would always think about that. Like,
That, where were they
do
put
they have
those?
enough space?
Right,
I don't know
I
why
used
the
to think like
turkeys
when they
always
picked the big
like to
Pepsi
be.
can up, did they get a lifetime supply of the Pepsi or something like that?
right,
That was
right,
so
right. It
gay.
was it was a fun show, especially watching it as a kid. I think they had a revival of the show, but I'm not sure if it did
Yeah, I
well.
did
I
hear
think
about that. Yeah,
Leslie from Saturday
I
Night
think it
Live
might still be
hosted
on.
it.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna agree with Ashley and say Double Dare. I really enjoyed that as a kid with Mark Summers as host, and then I'm also going to say Guts. I
Mm.
really liked Global Guts as a kid. I really wanted to um, climb the I think aggro crag, or I think that's what it was called,
Yeah,
the big mountain.
yeah, the big
And
mountain,
Yes.
and push
yeah,
the
it
button to
was
the top of it, and you had all the steam
right,
come out.
right. That was like a goal of mine as a kid to be able to compete with those other kids from different countries. But I thought that was so cool. It was like mini Olympics.
But you didn't
But
meet
yeah,
the height requirement.
you know what? How about we just ask what you like? What were your favorite shows, Anthony?
uh, well, start with the classic of Wheel of Fortune. Used to watch that with my grandma. That's why I learned that you always cheer for the black person on the
Mm-hmm.
TV shows, no matter what. Followed up with The Price is Right during the midday. Then my favorite childhood TV show, Ashley stole it. It would be Legends of the Hidden Temple. Like I used to wonder, like, how couldn't you put this monkey together? Didn't you show prep at home? Didn't you watch this show before you got
I
there?
know.
Like, didn't
If
you
I got
maze
there,
out? Right. I'm like, didn't you
I would
map
know what
out
to
where
do.
everything was?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing if I got there, I'd be messing up like that,
Yep.
giving
Yep.
my little talisman up to left and right.
Hmm. I mean, back in the day, pretty much anything Nickelodeon had with slime, I wanted to kind of be a part of. Now I hate slime. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't buy my kids any slime for birthday,
That's
Christmas,
because
Christmas.
you're a
I won't
parent.
bring it in this
Very
house.
true.
If they get slime, they play with it outside, and once it's dirty and nasty, they
It
just
goes
throw
in
it
the
in the trash.
trash.
So I'm just telling all y'all now. But when I was a kid, slime was the coolest thing, and I always wanted to slime somebody. Like, I'm not saying I wanted to be covered in slime, but I wanted somebody else to be covered in slime on my behalf. I wanted
I
to.
had the chance to get covered in slime in Florida. We went to Universal
Oh
Studios as a
man, I would
kid.
have did it.
I got on one of their internet game shows too, and they slime me on
If I couldn't
camera.
slime somebody, I would slime. I would slime myself. Like, no, I'm not just gonna go outside and do it like right now. But like,
Oh
if
no,
I
you
was
too
in
grown for that.
Nickelodeon and they were like, "You want to get slimed?" I would definitely be like, "Sure, I'll jump in."
No.
Yeah. And then I'd be like, "Can I do somebody?"
Are you down to get slimed, Eric?
Yeah, I am.
Mm.
I've
Sex.
got a bald head now. I don't care.
Back in the day,
Okay, well, if my girls want to slime somebody, do you
volunteer.
volunteer as tribute?
Uh, yeah, as tribute. Okay, this is the Hunger Games. All right. Yes, I
District
volunteered.
Honey Mission. Eric
Yes.
Hawthorne. We offer as tribute. All right. With our tribute, Eric, being offered as for slime, we are going to wrap this segment up and come back with our Little Things review and our offbeat fact. And we'll be right back. On March 2nd, 1955, Claudette Colvin was arrested at the age of 15 in Montgomery, Alabama, for refusing to give up her seat to a white woman on a crowded, segregated bus 9 months before Rosa Parks. And that was your offbeat fact. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that was
Yes, I
somebody
did.
before
No, I'm just playing.
Bust the air out my bubble.
And I did not know that. I figured there was probably 1, 2, maybe 1,000 other women before her that sat down and refused to get
I
up,
think
and
a lot of people sat
probably
down.
went to jail for it. But I think Rosa fit the bill. She had the name. She
The
had
golden last name.
Rosa. It's such a beautiful name. And then Parks. She just parked herself. So it's just everything. And then the picture of her, who she is,
right,
fit the bill. So.
Hmm.
Yeah, what?
Why are you shaking
Eric,
your head, Eric? What Rosa do you know?
No, that's the Rosa Parks I grew up with. Although I did know her for sitting on the bus in the Montgomery, Alabama bus strike, but I knew her from the Outkast song, "Her Suing Outkast." I'm sorry. I mean, that's where I'm not going to say that's where I first heard Rosa Parks' name, because it's not. But at the same time, when I think of Rosa Parks, I think of Big Boy and Andre
3000. Yeah. I get that. I understand that. So speaking of parks, we parked ourselves on the couch to observe this Denzel movie, going in with this mindset that Denzel does not make bad movies.
Big mistake.
However,
big one.
This big mistake we made in watching The Little Things turned out to be just that, a tragic misstep for Denzel. Ashley, what did you think about The Little Things?
You see my eyes?
Roll them.
No, no, it was horrid. Let me be. All right.
Namaste.
I did not care for the movie. I didn't care for it. It wasn't a good movie. I was waiting for it to get to the point, and once it finally got to the point, I was surprised that was the point, and I felt left like, this is it. I still don't feel like that movie's over. It took 2 hours. It took 2 hours to get through in the first place, and I still feel like we need to watch the rest of it. Like, where's the rest of it?
Like,
I mean,
we fell asleep during the movie.
I know what
and woke
happened,
back up
but
and was like, "Oh, the movie's not over yet."
The Little Things on HBO, featuring Denzel, co-starring just what's his name? Malik. What's his name?
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek
and
Jared
Jared Leto.
Okay, yeah. Take a look. You can watch it if you want to at your own risk. We've advised you. It's not very good. What were the ratings on that, Eric? Since we know you didn't watch it.
So basically, IGN gave the film a 5 out of 10, which is to me below average. A lot of people, my YouTube nerds that I listen to and lean on for their opinions, they were giving it the same scores, like not recommending it at all. One gentleman said that you need alcohol in order to get through this movie.
I agree with him.
The movie moves at a painfully slow pace, is what I hear.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, paint drying moved faster than that movie.
Right. And that's not what I'm down for. Like, they said that this is the 2021 version of an attempt to be like Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman and Kevin Spacey, and it does not accomplish that at all.
Not at all. It misses that mark by a mile.
Mm-mm. This is not good. And you want to give a quick synopsis of kind of what it's about a little bit for people who might be wanting to watch it?
No, not even gonna waste my time doing that. It's not even worth explaining. If you really want to know what this movie is about, you can either go watch it or watch a YouTube synopsis of it and get the whole.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a trailer on HBO.
You'll see all of it.
Out.
The trailer is the best part of that movie.
You should probably just watch the trailer to see the movie. Then you don't have to spend 2 hours watching a bad movie. And I'm a Denzel fan. Like, I couldn't think of a bad Denzel movie. Can you?
Until that movie, I felt like the worst one for me was Equalizer 2. And it was just like, it wasn't because that was not as good as the first one. That's the only reason why. It was like comparison.
You can't think of a bad Denzel.
But no, outside of that, no.
A bad Denzel movie.
Can you think of
especially when he's a cop?
Oh yeah, he doesn't make mistakes as cops.
So, Eric, do you have a bad Denzel movie? Yeah, this is a little offbeat. A bad Denzel movie? What?
Bad Denzel movie?
A bad Denzel movie.
Wow. Let me think. I didn't like Equalizer 2, but I wouldn't say it was like
It's same here.
bad.
It's not
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, now because I really liked Equalizer 1, I'm like, look at this
Same
old
here.
man. He's like the black Liam Neeson from Taken. What was that film that he did where he gained the weight and grew the afro? It's like something Esquire where he plays a
Where
lawyer.
he
Oh yeah,
jumps? Wait, no.
Roman
Romer
Esquire.
Esquire. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
Roman
I
and
watched like
yeah.
yeah, I watched about 30 minutes of that. I didn't care for that, but generally speaking, I do like Denzel Washington movies.
Okay. Generally speaking, you like bad shows as well, including P Valley. So here's your chance to sell Ashley and I on P Valley.
That's an interesting way of framing the next topic. But P Valley is a really good show. It's entertaining, it's funny, it's heartfelt, it has drama, and it has a little bit of something for your ratchet side as well. I didn't think I would like the show because at the surface, it is you would think it's just a show about strippers, but it's a little bit deeper. It has great character development. The side characters are great. They're funny. It's about acceptance. It's about love. It's about the hustle. It's about who we really are on the inside, who we pretend to be on the outside. That goes for several characters. Um, Although it does have the backdrop of a strip club, the characters are really interesting, and their lives are really interesting as well. And the developments that you see throughout the show will really actually kind of shock you. I was really impressed by
Yeah,
the ride.
I
I
couldn't get.
was really
Yeah, Eric, I just don't know. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying we did
right.
watch 2 episodes. And other people have tried to sell me on this. Anthony, your cousin, tried to get us to watch it.
Mhm.
I'm not saying no. Just like I told her, I'm not saying no. You might try it again, Eric, if you really think it's worth our precious time, and you know how precious our time is, right?
It
You
is. It
understand?
is.
Is it
But
worth?
there's only 8 episodes. It's
Does the
only eight
P stand for
episodes.
precious time? Precious time valley? Precious valley? What
That's not
Paradise during that
exactly
time
what it
watching
does.
that valley.
what is the P for?
Uh, the P is for.
O and P.
I promise you it's a good show.
Is it similar to the P in OPP?
Yes, that would be correct.
People's Valley?
People's property.
Right. No, but I really do think y'all should give it a try. It is a good show. I think it's funny. It's endearing. I mean, it's one of those shows that you just kind of have to kind of let grow on you. But I did recommend Peaky Blinders to you all, and you did fall for that.
Okay,
And we
this is a
recommended
big
Ozarks to you,
pause.
so
Pause. This is a big
even
jump
out.
from Peaky Blinders.
It
Big
really
difference.
Well, I
is.
mean, there's not
It's
going
like
to be.
that Hustlers movie because I watched it was like down in the valley where the girls what was it was something like that
Where the
The
bucket
girls
girls
get
get
naked.
naked or
where the
something
girls
like
getting
that.
Girls
I'm
get
like
naked.
that's
Yes.
definitely a stripper show. Like you can't say oh no we're not gonna talk about strippers or like there won't
I
be
mean,
like
like I said, it does have similarities with
Is it
like
Hustlers,
like the
Hustlers.
but
is it like the
but it.
Players Club but a series?
I've
Are there
never seen
any
the
notable
Players Club.
Whoa, whoa,
stars?
whoa, 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 hold on. He has never seen the Players Club.
No,
You've never seen the
no, I've
Players
never
Club?
seen the Players Club. I've never
What do you
seen the
mean you've
Players
never
Club.
seen the Players Club? And why is this?
When I was younger, my mom said, "There's one movie that I never want you to watch," and I said, "What?" And she said, "I never want you to watch the Players Club." And to this day, I've just never had any interest in ever watching it, even though
And
I'm a
does
grown
your mom care about your watching habits now? I mean, you watching P Valley, so
man.
that's like
I feel
the
like there's something
Players Club on
psychologically wrong with me
steroids.
because I want to like tie him to a chair and force his eyes open and make him watch it. Like, I won't watch it. And I'll be like, yes, you will. My eyes, they're burning. I'm like, let them burn. Let your eyes burn, Eric. You're watching P Valley though.
But you won't watch the Players Club.
Can you
You
Look,
know,
okay?
yeah. Here's
No, I can
I'm
make a
if
trailer of the
if
Players
we
Club for you. Will
here's
you
another
watch a
trade
Will
off.
you watch a trailer?
Here's another trade off. If we watch 4 episodes of P Valley, you have to watch the Players Club.
you have to watch the Players Club.
Yes, you do.
Well, I have to talk to my mother about that.
She said it's fine
signed
already.
off on
Your
it.
mom is fine. She probably thinks it's weird that you're still holding on to this arbitrary promise that you made when you were a child. She's probably like, you're a grown man now. Aren't you pushing like, I don't want to say, I don't want to. People are like,
Yeah, I'll be 25
there
this
you go.
year.
But the
All
hairline says differently.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know if it was 23 or 24, Eric. So I was waiting for you to say the
100.
25 to let me know it was 25.
Wow,
So.
Anthony, you're not too far behind me, sir.
Hey, I still look great.
So he's aging.
But anyway,
I don't get it.
anyway, what are y'all watching?
Shucks. Peaky Blinders.
We always, all of our issues are back on. Yep, the issues. We watch them. Blackish, Mixed-ish, Grownish. We watch the issues. So if people want to get into them, go for it. I don't really think you have to start from season 1 on any of those.
I don't either.
But feel free if that's what you want to do. What else have we watched recently that
we watched The Tax Collector recently, but we'll say that for a different time. And I'm thinking pretty soon we're gonna start WandaVision as well, and can't wait for Judas and the Black Messiah to drop Friday.
Okay, we have to check that out.
Yeah, yes.
Check that out.
What about you, Eric? What have you watched this week?
This week I did follow up with some Ozark. I've been watching that. I'm currently on season 2. At your recommendation, it is a great show.
Yes, it is.
I'm rewatching The Wire. I'm currently on season 4 of that, and then I just finished up the second season of The Last OG with Tracy Morgan and Tiffany Haddish.
Was that funny?
Actually, it was, and I don't like either one of them. And I'm going to be completely honest. I don't care for their brand of comedy, but I really did think that Tiffany Haddish did a good job in this show, and that Tracy Morgan did as well. They're actually pretty funny, and the show is well written and is pretty endearing.
Okay. One of my coworkers did recommend Firefly Lane. That's a new show on Netflix. It's actually trending like over the weekend. So if you guys want to take a look at that, go ahead. I think I might, just because how she described it sounds like something I might be into. So yeah, Firefly Lane. That is on Netflix.
And if you haven't already, I know Eric hasn't started, catch up with the Bridgertons. That's one of Ashley's new favorite shows. She binged it in the weekend. They also have
like
books
when you say
out.
It's my favorite show. It's like I already watched it 3 weeks ago, so it's like
it's
a new show
you want
favorite, but it's like I have to keep moving because I binged it so quickly and I needed.
Everybody else got to catch up.
I do like the show though. It was a good show. I can't wait for it to come back on, but it probably won't come back on for like 2 years. Like who knows? So
they signed like for 6 seasons.
Yeah, but they still have to film it. Like it's not like they already filmed it.
Very true. Very true. Any other shows you suggest for anybody to watch, Eric?
No, not that I can think of right off the top of my head. I would just say if you haven't watched The Wire, watch The Wire. Excellent show. The Wire. Well, you need to go ahead and.
I definitely will.
That's a conversation for a different episode.
You need to go ahead and watch it, brother. It's a good show. But no, I don't have any other new recommendations for anyone.
Yeah, I think I would say if I had a D recommendation, just don't watch the little thing.
Is that bad, huh?
I don't know what HBO was thinking. I mean, I don't know if it was them or the actual production company of the movie, because I'm sure they probably did this before COVID, but it just seems so like the storyline in itself was bad, I think, and not to dwell on it, but it just,
if you do watch it with your eyes closed.
Yeah, it would be a good go to sleep movie. Like if you turn the TV on to go to sleep, go ahead, turn it on. It's a good movie for that.
And with that, we would like to say, go Chiefs.
Woo!
And what we've been talking about.
My bad, I can't. That's bad now, right?
And I'm Anthony.
And I'm Ashley.
And I'm Eric.
And we are the OffBeat 3. And this has been an OffBeat podcast. And we'll talk to you later. Peace.
This episode has been brought to you by an Offbeat Production, LLC.